Hello, hello, hello. If you're catching me, we are live in my Facebook group, and I decided to do it live here. Oh, yes, it's working. Okay, so we are live in all the places. Awesome. I'm going to bring this down so that I can see this, and then I should be able to see you guys. All right. So, I have a special presentation for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hold on. You're just catching this. Say hi. Let me know where you're watching this from. If you're watching the replay, you can hashtag replay and send me some love. Let me know. I'm a lefty for some things, and so does anybody know if there's a mug shop that's just lefts, like for lefties? Because I have to hold it with my left hand so that you guys can be able to see it. And so it's just weird. But sometimes I like to hold it with my right hand because I do stuff with my left. I don't know. Anyways, fun fact about me. All right, let's get this show on the road. If you're catching this on Instagram and you're wondering, like, you're feeling it, you're like, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing, but I can't see the slides, go to my Facebook, join my Facebook group, and you'll be able to see the presentation. The replay will be there. I'm only going to stream live on Instagram for like 5-10 minutes. So everybody else, welcome. So my name is Anna Connie Walters. I am the founder and CEO of Empower Her Wave Agency. And today I'm basically diving into the secret sauce of brand clarity and magnetic messaging. So you guys know, if you're in my Facebook group, that we are focusing on branding 101, because before I really start to dive into the automations and all the amazingness and the magic of AI, I really want to make sure that we are dialing in our branding. You know your voice, you have a good palette, you understand how consistency across your brand in terms of like fonts, colors, creating that distinct identity. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. If you're on Instagram and you're wondering what I'm talking about, you can go to my personal Facebook page at Anna Connie Walters, and you can watch actually the masterclass that I did there. It's like 20 minutes, pretty quick. But it talks about like the fails and the successes of big brands and how to I break it down into how does it relate to us female entrepreneurs from a smaller perspective. So big picture it, because these were brands that were well known, like Nike and Victoria's Secret, Colgate, stuff like that. But it helps sometimes to see it from a bigger perspective so that you understand how to relate it back to yourself. And we're going to basically start to figure out how to define your niche, stepping into your unique voice and attract the right people with ease. Now, I'm multi-passionate. I don't like niching down. But I do understand that I need to have certain niches in terms of not how you think about it, in terms of the people that I'm talking down to. So before we get started, if this is your first time catching me, hello, beautiful. Again, my name is Anna Connie Walters, and I am your AI automation and business strategist for women wellness entrepreneurs specifically. I basically help heart-led women entrepreneurs bring their brands to life with AI-powered marketing, automation, and just strategies that feel authentic, they feel aligned, they feel easy to implement. I'm a 44-year-old mom with a 2-year-old. I'm a military spouse living overseas. And so I understand. I'm the CEO and founder of 2 other brands. And so this is my 3rd one. So I understand time is a value. It can feel super overwhelming. And today I really want to dive into the secret to your secret sauce of brand clarity and creating a brand with clarity to become basically that magnet for messaging, so that you can really learn how to step into your unique voice and start to attract the right people. And I'm like, how's the, oh, I guess do it that way. So to start it off into why this matters in terms of brand clarity and the magnetic messaging. If your messaging isn't clear, then your ideal clients, your dream clients, they're not going to recognize that you are the one to help them. When you do have messaging that aligns, the right people will then begin to be drawn to you effortlessly. And that's the whole point of this, is that sometimes what doesn't make sense is the answer, in the sense of like, theoretically or logically, it makes sense that if we want to like make more money, we need to work harder, we need to work more, we need to like do more to have more. And sometimes to have more in business, if you're doing it the right way, you actually have to do less. And it doesn't make sense, but a lot of things sometimes we are resistant to, and we push back, but they're usually the right answers. And so today we're going to go over how to define your niche with confidence, uncovering your authentic brand voice, and then crafting a message that really magnetizes your dream clients to you. Why clarity is everything. If you think of your brand like a radio signal, if your message is static and unclear, then no one's going to basically be tuning in. But when you start to dial into that right frequency of your unique, your awesomeness, your magic, then your dream clients will be seen, they'll feel heard, and they're going to be ready to connect. And that's what we're basically going to be really talking about. Your brand's essence isn't just what you say, it's how you make people feel. And I touched a lot on this yesterday about how the aesthetics of your brand, the consistency of your brand, when you start to build a business, how you position your brand with your brand voice, your brand tone, your brand board with your colors, your fonts, your even your typography, all of that really sends a clear message in terms of how the person's going to feel, and you need to make sure that you're paying attention to that. So to kind of give you a really good big picture of it, is this is the brand alignment for attraction. And so you kind of see that you have on the top your attraction and your messaging, and then you have your niche and your voice. And look at this as like kind of that compass. So when you have engaging so let's start with your authentic voice. It reflects your genuine brand and personality in all the things that you interact with, from your website to all your social, even your emails and your copy. And that's the messaging essentially, which then goes into the consistent messaging of maintaining that uniformity in communication across all your channels. So if you know who you are, or the persona, the like, for instance, I own Fat Mermaids, PHAT. It's a stand-up paddleboard and fear mindset business that I have. I am a very different person. There's a different brand tone. It's very much hyped up. It's stand-up paddleboarding. It's very the lot of the messaging that you'll hear is very ocean specific, mermaid specific. And when you even see me on my lives, on my videos, on me actually showing you behind the scenes of an actual stand-up paddleboard lesson, it is very different. Stay fat, stay fabulous, stay beautiful. Like, that's my tagline at the end of everything. And so that message is consistent, from the captions to the actual images to how I act in all of my media, to the emails that you get, everything. Okay. And then the target audience. So reaching specific groups with precise niche focus. I made the mistake of not understanding the power of this until like last year. I just was like, I want to help everybody. And I know that a lot of wellness women entrepreneurs suffer from this problem. And that's why I really started to come into like this role of like, okay, do not make the same mistakes that I did. I want to teach you the right way, the faster way, so that you're not having to do this the long and hard way. And in that perspective, really understanding that even though I want to talk to everybody, they say, when you talk to everybody, you talk to nobody. And so I knew that I wanted to speak specifically to women in Fat Mermaids. I wanted to speak to women over 30. I knew that I wanted to speak to women who were in the military space, who were suffering from depression, from self-image issues, self-confidence issues, low self-esteem, that kind of stuff. Though I knew specifically who I wanted because I was basically targeting who I was essentially like 10 years ago. And that's who I wanted to attract. And so as we go into this circle, we start to then create that engaging content that starts to captivate our audience through the compelling storytelling and then bringing everything together in that nice little circle. So it all kind of works together. Make sure that anybody streaming, let's make sure that I'm keeping an eye on the comments. Feel free to comment, y'all. Let me know when you are arriving. I know this was, I'm doing these spare of the moment, so yeah, let me know. Okay, so why clarity matters in your brand. Understand that unclear messaging equals lost opportunity. So that's the the basics of this. And so if you think about your brand like we already talked about that, the radio signal. That's what it is. And so if your dream clients don't see themselves in your messaging, then they're likely to basically not engage. They're not going to click on any of your lead. They're not going to opt in for your lead magnets, none of that stuff. And so when you're thinking about your messaging, it starts to then really drive that engagement. And you see that in this teeter-totter image of when you have unclear messaging, you have weak marketing position, you have negative brand perception, you end up with confused audience. Let me let you know, I was a big person in doing that. Like I even was so messed up, I like done confused myself. But when you start to have that clear messaging, you start to have strong marketing positions. Your perception of people and what they're saying about you when you're not in the room is super positive, and you start to get really engaged audience responses. And that's basically, why we're all doing this. That's what we want, essentially. And so if you're, let me just double check my notes before I move on. Okay, so I have this empowered niche formula, and it's essentially that your niche is not the demographics. It's about the transformation that you're trying to create. And so you need to start asking yourself these questions to really understand who, to basically create that niche. And when I said like the niche that I'm talking about isn't like the one that you're probably thinking about. It is creating your niche in terms of like the overall picture. And you see this kind of in like that overlap, and where we want to be is kind of in that middle. So you see those three circles, and then they kind of all overlap at some section, and the sweet spot, that magic spot that we're looking for, is there in that middle. And bringing, this is a lot, but this is all the things that we need to be taking into consideration from a niche perspective. So who do you serve? That's the first question you need to start asking yourself. That you need to know very specific things about them, not just that they're women and that they're over the age of 30. Like, that's not enough. You need to go deeper. You need to know their values. You need to know their struggles. You need to know their aspirations. What transformation do they deeply desire? So essentially, it's basically understanding where they want to be and then working backwards when you're starting to create all your content and your offers and your strategy to how to basically market yourself. Why are you uniquely positioned to them? So that's basically what makes you stand apart from everyone else on the market. For me, there's a lot of people out there who are becoming these AI automation business strategists. So really what makes me different? Well, what makes me different is that I'm specifically targeting women wellness entrepreneurs. Why? Because they are basically my people. They're me. I am a yoga instructor. I used to be a nurse. I became an entrepreneur. I'm thinking about becoming a doula. I work closely with birth workers. I'm a pre and postnatal yoga instructor. I'm a master stand-up paddle instructor. I'm a military spouse. And, I believe in holistic wellness. I believe in, energy healing, Reiki, and all that stuff. So I'm very much involved in a lot of the niches, like from a perspective that I'm either actively practicing them or I'm actually doing the thing. So for me, it made sense to help those specific women because I know them like really well from a personality perspective. I suffered through all this stuff already, and I'm just trying to help them save themselves the last 10 years of my heartache and struggle and bring them forward with me in a very fast way. I bring empathy. I bring encouragement. I bring the tonality that is not necessarily found out there. I am not bro marketing. I'm very monotone. It's why I did so well in surgical oncology because I just had that coming. It's probably why I'm a good yoga instructor. And because I already know where they are, what they're probably doing, who their clients probably are, it helps me really be able to zone in on my genius to help them with their branding, their marketing, and get them to where they need to be to really thrive without having to work harder so that they can make time for more clients or their own families, because a lot of the times they get left on the backside. And so that's what puts me apart, because I'm not just teaching them AI automation strategies and brand marketing. I'm also teaching them about self-care. I suffered from adrenal fatigue. I got burnt out in nursing. I got diagnosed with 2 heart conditions in my 20s because I was just a workaholic. And I've been on both sides and it sucks. And I don't want people to do that. And it's so easy to see people getting burnt out already. AI and everything is moving so fast and people are feeling this pressure of having to keep up, and I'm trying to save people. So integrating meditation, pep talks, teaching them about Tai Chi or Qigong and, energy clearing, chair yoga, because most of us are going to be at desks or working on patients and we need to stretch out and take care of our own bodies, and learning that we cannot serve from an empty cup. In addition to, we should not be serving from within our cup. We should be serving from the overflow, and the overflow happens when we take care of ourselves. So that's what makes me different. And you need to figure out what is your unique proposition, what's making you different. So take a moment. You can come back and, watch the replay and just write yourself the question of answering these 3. Who you serve, what's their deepest transformation, and then why are you uniquely positioned to them? So, finding your unique voice. Y'all, I'm talking to my IG peeps. Beautiful. If you're watching this and you're like, this is some good stuff, or I like the way she's talking, or you liked my value proposition of my value statement of what makes me separated from everybody else, and you're like, yeah, I need to check you out. I have a free Facebook group. It's on my Facebook. It's attached to my Facebook community. It's free. You can join if you're a wellness woman entrepreneur. You fit into any of these spaces. Please join us. You can watch the rest of this training on there. And I hope you stay beautiful, stay you, and keep leading from the heart.